I feigned injuries in sports to get attention, culminating with faking a concussion and having my parents foot the medical bills. Before I begin, I'll provide some context. These 4 points make this especially tough to bear. 1. My parents had several children with little to no savings for emergencies. 2. I was, in my mind, only moderately good at sports. I only played because I thought I'd be cool if I did. 3. I never starved for attention. I had it. 4. I was pretty okay at other shit. And was praised for it. I learned early on in childhood that, when in pain, people would rush to my attention. That specific attention felt unlike any other I'd experienced. But, it wasn't until I was in the throes of puberty that I really started abusing it. My freshman year of high school I joined the soccer team. I had already seen, and became jealous of, the way guys were treated after they'd been injured. Girls were in tow all the time, faculty gave them special passes, teammates did special tributes and all kinds of other shit. So, during practices, I'd fake a cramp or claim heat exhaustion here and there, etc. Something that wouldn't affect my playing time. And I'd get what I wanted for a bit. Coaches were there, the physical therapist was there, my teammates were there, girls were there. I felt like I had it all. All of this still seems inconsequential, albeit cringy, to me. Here's what ducks me up. Not long after those performances we traveled 2.5 hours for a game. I was playing like shit. Shittier than I thought I was capable of. I went for a header as an opposing player was too, and we barely brushed heads. And I acted like I was so hurt. Like this guy just headbutted the ever-loving shit out of me. And I just sat there acting like I was about to faint. Again, this dude barely touched me. So, my coach comes over and drags me off the field and tells me, please don't fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep, snapping his fingers in front of my face. At that moment I decided I had to commit to what I was doing. I drooped my head a couple of times. I pretended to be incoherent. Spoke softly, slightly slurred, and only when it was to keep me awake. These were things I thought the concussed would experience. An ambulance arrives, stabilizes my unharmed neck, lays me on a stretcher, and takes me away to the nearest hospital. I didn't come clean. The ride seemed to take at least 10 minutes. At the hospital, the doctor asks a series of questions, mostly pertaining to current events. She asks about specifics, date and time, where I am, what I was doing, things like that. I answered slowly, but mostly correctly each time. Just sticking to the rows. The doctor orders a mother-ducking CAT scan and I still didn't confess. So I had it done. After all of that, I'm sent back to my room. My parents are already there. They had driven the 2.5 hours from our home to be in this hospital. And I didn't say anything. The doctor came back in and said to them that the only thing she thought it might be is a mild concussion, and that everything appears to be just fine with me. And I didn't say anything. My dad wearily wrote a gigantic check, wheeled me out of the hospital, and I didn't say anything. He drove us back 2.5 hours and kept me entertained, and I didn't say anything. For more than 2 decades, I still haven't been able to say anything. At this point, it's too late. Did you grow out of lying for attention? The short answer is no. To tell the truth, I am just not that interesting of a person. I am guilty of embellishing small details when I tell a story to new people. For example, I told someone today I spent 1 month longer than I actually had in culinary school. Even though I had already told him I hadn't finished. A round number just seemed better. I think a lot of unaccomplished people do this. Here's some shit though. Now I feel like I'm telling the truth for attention. If your issue is your attention-seeking nature, and you've already recognized that fault and, at least in this instance, regret those actions, telling the truth for attention is surely a step in the right direction. I think you probably just don't imagine you're that interesting, possibly because you're insecure, which is why you crave all this attention and are willing to lie for it. But I also think you probably have a lot more going for you than you think. If you feel unaccomplished, don't lie about what you haven't done. Talk about what you are doing, how you feel about it, where you're hoping to end up, etc. It will usually lead to a more interesting conversation that allows you both to develop ideas better, and those types of conversations are what make people interesting, not boasts or accomplishments, especially when you haven't actually done it and so can't elaborate on anything without lying more. I hope this helps at least a bit. It's a nasty habit to have if you lie impulsively, and eventually, as in this situation with your parents, you're gonna be sitting on a stack of lies that will be impossible to keep track of. Long-term relationships, romantic or not, cannot be sustained on dishonesty. You already have a head start because you feel guilt and shame and recognize the fault. You can change yourself if you try. Good luck. I think this is more an issue of you feeling like you aren't good enough as you are, which is a common thing among people. People then overcompensate or redirect attention. You are good enough though. Remember that. When I was at school, I got my twin brother suspended. I was playing dodgeball at school when I was 13 and so was my twin brother. We're not even identical. I threw a ball and my arm came around fast and hit this small 8-year-old girl in the face and she started crying, but she said she saw my brother hit her and he got taken out of the game and suspended, and I kept playing. It's not like you were falsely claiming that your brother hit her. Although, several other people were playing that dodgeball game, right? Unless you and your brother were wearing the same exact clothes, someone had to have seen who did it. Also, what friggin' school suspends someone for that? Almost no one can throw a dodgeball accurately all the time. He was like already on his last warning with the school as well, and yeah, if anyone did actually see it then they didn't speak up. Illusion 100. Ha 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 ha, laughed at this. Basically stole money to start a Pokemon card ring in the boys' bathroom. I wanna say this was like 4th grade. So late 90s. My math class did a mathathon, where the teacher asked us to go around our neighborhood and get sponsored by the neighbors, and they'd donate a certain amount of money for every question we got correct on a lengthy math test in a certain amount of time. After we got the results and had to go collect our bounty. Average neighbor gave about 10 to 25 cents per correct answer. But I had one neighbor pull a Michael Scott and donate 10 thinking he was giving 10 total, not per question. We negotiated and he gave 100, should have been substantially more. After gathering it all I had about 250, that's a lot for a kid to be trusted with. So comes the day to hand over the cash, and on the way I see one of my classmates trying to sell a Blastoise in the hall. Proverbially light bulb illuminates over my small, no fear of consequences, wanting to be the very best head. I tell him to meet me in the bathroom. We made the exchange. I never turned in the money. And Cash Ketchum was born. I started buying desirable cards that day. This started the string of kids meeting up in the boys' room to trade and buy, sell cards. Kids were taking more bathroom breaks and taking their sweet ass time in there. This went on for a couple of weeks. The rampant truantry raised some eyebrows, cause either these boys are up to something or there's an outbreak of UTIs among these prepubescent boys. It got so bad that my school banned pretty much everything Pokemon related. Never got caught or in trouble. Money was never asked about for some reason. We used to do the sponsorship list scam every summer in wealthy neighborhoods. My mum gave me the idea, and cause we were poor the money went to groceries etc. It fed us many nights in the summer. We would usually make around £100 every time, maybe twice every summer from primary 1 to 7. I wanna say this was like 4th grade, but I can't because in 45. I lied about being Mexican in middle school in the 6th grade. I am biracial, my mom is half black and my dad is white, from Spain. Because of this, my skin leaves a tan complexion, making me look like someone who could look like they could be from Central America. In elementary school, I was always teased for being from Spain, and everyone calling it Old Mexico, so when I went to middle school for some really dumb reason I thought it would just be better for me that I was Mexican even though I wasn't. Even when I didn't say I was from Mexico, people would already assume I was Mexican. The whole year I think I told almost everyone I meet that I was Mexican. It was only until next year I told everyone I wasn't Mexican and I was doing it for a joke. It will forever be my biggest regret. Ha ha ha, as a Mexican this made me laugh. I've been a minority at all my schools I've gone to, but was always treated the same by my peers. Sorry you had it differently, kids can be jerks. Why is this your biggest regret? Middle school is a weird time for teenagers. It's normal to make mistakes and have some regrets as long as you learn from them. It's important to reflect on the past, but do not dwell on it. In my freshman year I refused to wear any pants but white khakis. I lived in a rural area and got much shit. I don't even remember why I wore them. 10 to 15-year-olds deal with such an onslaught of harassment. OP's confession is like a 2.5 out of 10. Edit. I mean this in a compassionate way. I dealt with less racism and reacted more weirdly. OP is a normal human who ought to forgive themselves for this. I wore a jacket liner for the entire year of 8th grade because I liked having extra pocket space. I did something similar but in reverse. I told everyone I was from Spain even though I'm from Mexico because I was dealing with a lot of internalized xenophobia after being bullied in middle school for my family being immigrants. I didn't want to be associated with illegal immigrants, so I just pretended I was from Spain because people were more accepting and interested in that. It was very stupid on my part, but nobody ever found out. I was waiting for someone to comment this. I know a lot of light-skinned Mexicans that say they are from Spain because they think Mexico is trashy or something. I must admit, I did this in middle school too until my mom said, "No, you are not Spanish, you are Mexican. You should be proud to be Mexican." She gave me the confidence to rid myself of that internalized racism. Being biracial can be super confusing during a time you're already confused about your identity in all aspects. Glad I'm not alone, lol. Dang, me and my brothers were the opposite because of my grandpa's, who was a Güero, shit talking about Spain and how the Spanish destroyed our indigenous culture. We used to roast each other for not being brown enough in the summer and looking too white, ha ha ha, Mexicano hasta la madre. As a Spanish guy that shares your opinion on what our Spanish ancestors did, I was shocked when visiting a good friend in Mexico DF and his dad took me outside. He gave me a Corona and the biggest, most expensive cigar I have ever smoked. I was 14 at the time. He started talking to me about the Spanish and how the best thing the Spanish brought was 1. Religion, 2. Genetics. This man was by no means a Güero. I have now later found out that there is apparently racism towards more darker-looking Mexicans. Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.